So, what's going on, everyone? I am doing this live stream in advance, so it's currently 23 minutes past in the afternoon on the 23rd of November 2022. And I know everyone will probably watch this live stream in a few hours' time. So this is going live at the moment, but by the time this is all finished, you'll see it a few hours in advance. So my live stream will be about the Central London bus review. We've got it, we've done it, it's all been said, and everything in this video will cover that. So, without further ado, I will start. So, just to make it easier for myself, I have another page open, and I will be able to monitor the live stream and this all at once. So, hang on. Right. Okay. So, these bus routes that are going to change. So, North London, in the North London area, Edgware Road, bus routes 6, which is 24-hour, 16, N16, and the 23, which is 24-hour, and new route N32. The South London area will see Horseferry Road, bus routes 377, 507, and C10. The South London area again, Waterloo, bus routes 59, 133, and 521. And the East London area, Fleet Street, bus routes 11, N11, 26, N11, N26, 211, and 507. So the 4 bus routes will no longer run. These are the 332. Bear in mind, the 332 was not included in this consultation. However, the 332 has been subjected in this particular outcome. All those changes will be announced in a bit. 507, 521, and the N16, they will all be withdrawn. It was initially proposed that 22 bus routes would no longer run, which includes the 23. The 23 was going to change, but sorry, the 72. 72 was due to not run, but it's staying. That's good. So, this is what's going to happen. So, right here, I've got a list of all the changes that will happen. However, for now, I will only be explaining what has been announced yesterday that I am reading today. So I will be announcing the changes that will be happening that TfL have confirmed themselves. The 3 will have a route change, and that will be rerouted at Lambeth Bridge to serve Victoria. The full route will now be Crystal Palace to Victoria bus station. The 6 will have a change. So the ideal thing was for it to run between Williston and Oxford Street to terminate at Holborn. However, now there has been a modification. Now the whole route will be Victoria to Williston bus garage via Grosvenor Gardens, no longer serving stops between Hyde Park Corner and Aldridge. I will get into what's replacing that in a bit. So that is the 6. It will now run between Williston and Victoria. The 52 will have links between Notting Hill Gate, the Royal Albert Hall, Ladbroke Grove, and the Harrow Road and Kensal Rise, etc. But this is what's going on with the 6. The 6 will now go Williston to Victoria via Grosvenor Gardens. The C10 was due to have a route change, and it was due to be rerouted between Elephant and Castle and Lambeth Palace Road. However, there will now be a modification to that, and it will now be rerouted via St George's Road, Westminster Bridge Road, Waterloo Road and York Road towards Victoria, instead of Waterloo Road and York Road. The 11 was due to no longer run. However, following close consideration, TfL have decided that the 11 will be restructured to run between Waterloo and Fulham, no longer serving Liverpool Street. Now, I do not know if the way it will go, because Waterloo, obviously, when you're going from Waterloo, you can either go Waterloo Bridge, and then Aldridge. I don't know if that's going to happen or not, but for now, at the moment, the 11 isn't getting withdrawn, and that will run between Waterloo and Fulham Broadway. The N11 was due to not run. However, that will have a modification to run between Trafalgar Square and Ealing Broadway. The 16 was due to not run anymore. However, that will have a modification, and that will run between Paddington and Brent Park Superstores via Cricklewood. And that will mean that the 332 will no longer run, and the 16 will replace it. However, one thing to note is that the 332 at the end of the day will still be here. It will just be renumbered to the 16. The N16 was due to not run, and it was due to retain the journey links with proposed. Yes, I am looking at the chat whilst doing this. Yes, the 332 is being withdrawn. However, as I've just said, the 16 will replace it. So the 16 will do exactly the same as the 332 now. So ideally, the 332 isn't withdrawn, as it's still here. It's just getting a number change. So the 332 will be the 16. Which will mean the 16 won't run Victoria anymore. The 16 won't run to Victoria. It will instead divert to Paddington and Brent Park. So the N16 was due to no longer run. That will still happen. I'm just reading the bit underneath here as to what it says. It says it was retained journey links with proposed new route N32 between Edgware and Edgware Road and Oxford Circus, with an interchange with the N98 and N32. That will be that the N16 will completely go. They will do what they said. So the N16 will no longer run. The 23, this is one change that I really do want to happen, and thankfully it is happening. The 23 will have a route change, and that will be extended from Hyde Park Corner to Aldridge via Piccadilly. It will no longer serve Hammersmith bus station. So it will no longer do that weird part from Marble Arch to Hammersmith bus station. Hurrah! It will just have a slight change, operating via Hyde Park Corner to Aldwych instead of via Marble Arch, Oxford Street, Piccadilly, Trafalgar Square, and Aldwych. So that will happen. The whole route will now be Westbourne Park to Aldwych. So that will be good. So the 26 will have a change, and that will be rerouted at Aldwych to serve Victoria instead of Waterloo, and that will definitely happen. The N26 extend from Trafalgar Square to Victoria to partially replace the N11 if it were to no longer run. That will definitely happen. The N32. Now, the N32 was due to run between Edgware and Oxford Circus. However, there's been a slight change with the N16 no longer running. The N32 will run between Edgware and Victoria, no longer being Oxford Circus. This will directly replace the N16 fleet. So, now, so the 59 was due to have two changes. However, one of them will not be going ahead at the moment. So the first change I will announce, it was due to operate between St Paul's and Clapham Park, and it would no longer serve stops between Euston and Holborn Station, extending via High Holborn instead. That will not happen. The second change was that it would reroute at Holborn Station via High Holborn and Newgate Street to terminate at St Paul's Station instead of Euston. This will happen, however, there is a slight modification. It will run between Streatham Telford Avenue and St Bart's Hospital via Holborn Station. That will happen. 72 and N72 and all them routes down here in West London, they are staying for now. For now, nothing is happening with those routes, which is good. I'm glad TfL have thought this through. The 77 will have a change. It won't be it won't be a very good, it won't be a very big change. I mean, it will be revised to terminate at Waterloo Station Taxi Road instead of Concert Hall Approach. This will happen. So, the 133 is going to have a route change, and this is what was going to happen. it was going to get rerouted at Monument to run via King William Street and Cheapside to St Bart's Hospital instead of Liverpool Street. There's been a slight modification, and the route will now be Streatham Station and Holborn Station via King William Street, Cheapside, and High Holborn. There will be no changes to the N133. The 211 will have a change. It will be rerouted at Chelsea Bridge towards Battersea Power Station instead of Waterloo. The whole route will now be Hammersmith Bus Station to Battersea Power Station. And here you go, the 332 wasn't in the consultation, as I said, but that will no longer run, replaced and renumbered as Route 16. So the 332 will be renumbered to the 16. The 507 was to have a route change, and that was to be rerouted across Westminster Bridge to Victoria and then extended to Fulham Broadway. That will no longer happen, as the 507, I repeat, the 507 will be withdrawn fully. See revised Route 11, as I've said before. The N507 was due to be a new route between Ealing and Trafalgar Square, a partial replacement of the N11 if it were to no longer run. That will not happen, as the N507 that was going to happen will no longer happen. So the N507 will be withdrawn and not be introduced, and there will be a revision to Route N11. The 521 was due to no longer run, and unfortunately, with deep regret, that will still happen. The 521 will no longer run. And that is it. Those are the bus changes that are happening at the moment. I have actually seen when these will happen, as it does say. Now I am going to look. Hang on. Right, so it doesn't say when these will happen. However, these will happen during 2023. So, me personally, if there are certain routes that I haven't been on yet that I have to still do, but if you want to go on them, I would suggest you do it now and December, because January you don't know what's going to happen to the bus routes. So November, December, that's when I would say you do it. So yeah, make sure you do smash the like button, subscribe, and yeah, TFL, they've redeemed themselves. Yes, with some of the changes, I'm still not happy, but they have redeemed themselves because they have thought this through, and they're not withdrawing historical bus routes, or they're not withdrawing most historical bus routes. Obviously, the 507 and the 521, I am gutted, as these will be the end of the Red Arrow bus routes in London, as these happened a long time ago. But yeah, these routes will sadly come to an end, the 507 and the 521. However, I have to praise on the 23 outcome. I think that's a good change. And the 211 as well, it's going to be different, but yeah, it'll be interesting. So yeah. It's going to be interesting next few months, and coming into the changes as well next year. But yeah, so that is it. But yeah, I will see you all in the next one. Peace out.